Now, let's head to the stadium for Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football.
From TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, it is an SEC matchup as the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs face the 8th-ranked Florida Gators. Dogs in red, the Gators in white. Ball on the 25-yard line. Georgia lined up initially with 2 tight ends on the right. They shift left, and Bennett goes in the shotgun, and on first down, they hand the football off to Zamir White. Sprints around the left side, has a huge hole, breaks free at the 50, down the left sideline. Zamir White takes it the distance on the first play of the game. A 75-yard scamper for the Dogs. Zamir White, touchdown, Georgia.
Well, Bill, that sure didn't take long. We talked about Stetson Bennett needing to lean on his run game, and you mentioned they did a shift to start the formation where they brought 2 tight ends from the right to the left side of the offense, and it was a heavy package for Georgia. I don't think Florida made the appropriate adjustments. Zamir White gets around the left side, and then James Houston, the 4th, number 41, tries to go after him. Then he just stops about 25 yards, realizing he's not going to catch Zamir White.
Jackpot Leslie in for the extra point. It is good, and it took just 12 seconds for the Georgia Bulldogs to jump into the lead. A tremendous run for the sophomore from Laurinburg, North Carolina. They call him Zeus, and he sprints down the left sideline for 75 yards. What a way to start things off today for the Dogs, and what a hole for the Gators, not only on the scoreboard, but emotionally too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is not the way that you want to start this game. You talked about the strength for Florida has been their offense. They won the toss, they deferred, they put their defense on the field, and their defense just gets absolutely steamrolled on the first play of the game. They don't make the appropriate adjustments. Georgia had 3 tight ends and 2 running backs in the game. They had their freshman, Kendall Milton, that was a lead blocker, and as he was coming up in front of Zamir White, there wasn't even really anybody for him to block. Everything was covered up so well by the offensive line and the tight ends. There was not a Florida secondary player anywhere near the vicinity. Maybe one of the easiest touchdowns ever for Zamir White.
7-0 Georgia, 12 seconds in. Now the Gators will get their chance at the football, and they have their explosive electric kick return man, Kadarius Toney, back to receive the kickoff, coming off the foot of the very talented Jake Marta, who usually puts them into the end zone. And his kickoff is a beauty. Not only did he put it in the end zone, my goodness, it had the distance to go through the uprights off the back wall at TIAA Bank Field, and the Georgia fans appreciate the tremendous kicker they have. All right, so Georgia got it going. Now it's up to Kyle Trask, and here come the Gators.
Yeah, now Kyle Trask is going to have to do his best to just put aside what just happened, what he just saw from his defense, and his job now is to go out on the field and execute offensively just like he's done throughout the course of the season. Can't do anything about the easy touchdown given up. His job now is to pick up first downs and score on this drive.
Gators average 42 points a game. They'll start from the 25-yard line on first down. The handoff goes to Damian Pierce. The tailback sprints to the left side, picked up about 3 yards on the play. Ojulari brought him down on the left side in front of the Gators bench. It'll be 2nd down and 7. That's Pierce. He's from up the road in Bainbridge, Georgia. He gets the start today for the Gators at tailback.
We talked about Georgia being banged up. Also on the front, Jordan Davis not going to play in this game, number 99. He's the big 2-block guy up front.
2nd and 7 for Trask. Drops the throw. The rush comes. He escapes, running hard to his right. Throws on the run and bounces it intentionally at the feet of Jacob Copeland. It'll bring up a 3rd down. So the Dogs, even short-handed a bit up front, get some heat.
Well, that's, I talked about Kirby Smart. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and even though he's got some of his starters that are not playing in this game, you got to remember, this defense and this team has got 4- and 5-star recruits across the board. They've got guys that have been chomping at the bit, waiting to get an opportunity to play not only in the SEC, but in this matchup. These guys are ready to come out and play against the Gators, and on 2nd down, they force Trask outside the pocket to throw the football away.
3rd and 7 now for the Gators. Ball is on the left hash mark. Trask in an empty set. Takes the shotgun snap. Flips to the left sideline. Incomplete. Broken up beautifully right in front of the bench by Lewis Sign. The free safety who got his arm in there to bat it away, and the Gators go 3 and out.
Yeah, Lewis Sign's one of those guys that was a little bit banged up as well. He's got an ankle injury, but he's got great coverage this time and even better technique at the end for him to reach in with his left arm, does not pull the receiver with the right arm, so he doesn't get called for the interference, knocks that football away, and forces the punt team on the field for the Gators.
Senior Jacob Finn, a hometown kid from here in Jacksonville, into the game now to punt the football for the Gators. He'll be kicking it to Kyrus Jackson, who stands back on his 22. Kick is away, and it's a bad kick. Bad punt off the right side of his foot, but it takes a big old hop. And on the run, Jackson picks it up for the Dogs, sprints hard to the left sideline, and gets banged out of bounds right in front of his own bench. 8 yards on the return after the 43-yard punt by Jacob Finn. Well, Zamir Wright's 75-yard touchdown got things off to a great start. The Dogs have the lead, and they get the ball back in a moment. You're listening to Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football.
Sarcoma. Odds are you've never heard that word before. But for the 40 people diagnosed with sarcoma every day, it is a life-changing word. Life-changing and devastating because sarcoma is cancer. Sarcoma is a cancer of bone and soft tissue more prevalent in children than in adults. More than 6,000 people lose their lives to sarcoma each year. Treatment options for sarcoma are limited, and new therapies are desperately needed. More research and increased awareness is necessary to find a cure for a cancer that you probably didn't even know existed until now. Through awareness, advocacy, and research, the Sarcoma Foundation of America is determined to help those affected by this forgotten cancer, to bring hope to the children and adults whose lives are forever changed by a word they had never heard before. Please help us in the fight to find the cure for sarcoma. For more information on sarcoma and the work of the Sarcoma Foundation of America, please go to curesarcoma.org.
There's a solution to hunger and poverty for millions. Farming families in developing nations can access food and flatten the curve on environmental harm. Nonprofit Trees for the Future is training farming communities to rethink how they farm using trees. Farmers are improving their nutrition and income so they can weather any storm. Learn more at trees.org/radio. That's TREES.org/radio. This message is sponsored by Trees for the Future.
Bill Roth and Derek Rackley here in the Grainger broadcast booth at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Huddle up with Grainger. You'll find supplies and solutions for every industry when you call, click, or visit Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. Georgia 7, Florida nothing. A 75-yard touchdown scamper by Zamir White, the Dogs' explosive tailback, on the first play of the game. And Georgia will now get its second possession, bidding for its 4th win in a row. Are these Dogs over their rivals from the Swamp in Gainesville? And they're going to get good field position after the punt on their own 39-yard line. Let's see what offensive coordinator Todd Monken does now. More of a traditional set. Remember, they had 3 tight ends on the first play from scrimmage. Now they go with 3 wides and a first down fake of the handoff, and Bennett runs with the football, and the Dogs QB sprints across midfield, and Coyley steps out on the 49-yard line after faking the handoff to White.
Yeah, a little bit of a tendency breaker from Georgia because Stetson Bennett, not known as a running quarterback, but on the second offensive play of the game, he pulls this one out, takes it around the right corner, picks up the first down, and gets out of bounds without taking a hit. So I like this start offensively, as you mentioned, from their coordinator, Todd Monken.
It's a 12-yard pickup, officially moves the football to the 49-yard line of the University of Florida. Dogs in the red helmets, red jerseys, and the gray breeches, as they call them in Georgia. Here's a tailback to Zamir White. He runs hard to the right side. He gets submarine there by Slayton, TJ Slayton, the senior tackle out of Fort Lauderdale, just 1 yard on the game.
I like that you use britches.
That's what it is in Georgia,
it's kind
right?
of the older generation says britches. Not many of the younger people call them britches, but I do hear it from people that are 60 plus in the South. Yeah, so it's definitely can be used in this one.
Only in a Georgia game, all right? Second down and 9. The line is the 48-yard line. Wide side of the left now. The Dogs send James Cook in motion to the left, and they dump it off to him on a little screen. And the young man from South Florida has the first down the sidelines, and he's banged out of bounds on the Gators' 35-yard line. They throw the ball to James Cook, whose older brother Dalvin Cook was a big star for Florida State. That was a tremendous pass.
Yeah, it's just a quick flare to the outside, getting the ball in the hands of their running back, who has been a more dangerous receiver out of the backfield throughout the course of the season, but he gets a good block by Jermaine Burton, the freshman wide receiver out on the perimeter, does not get called for a block in the back, and it gives Cook enough time to get around the edge. 2.5
minutes into the first quarter, Dogs up 7-0 on the move again. Here's a quick throw to the right side, and it's incomplete, right through the hands of the tremendous freshman Kendall Milton out of the backfield. He was one-on-one with the linebacker Stewart.
Well, which oddly enough, Kendall Milton does not have a reception coming out of the backfield, and that should have been his first, because even though there was some pretty good coverage from Stewart, that ball was put right on his hands. He's got to find a way to make that catch. He had leverage on the defense. If he just catches that ball, turns upfield, he probably picks up 4, 5, 6 yards.
Ball on the 35-yard line. You have the sense the Gators are kind of shaking already. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I agree.
With the wide side of the field to the right, the handoff goes to James Cook this time, and he starts right, accelerates left, but there's Jeremiah Moon to bring him down after a pickup of 3. It'll bring up about a 3rd down and 6 now for the Dogs offense. They're going quick now, no huddle. And Florida's trying to get a guy off the field. They're not going to get him off. They're going to have to call a timeout. TJ Slayton, the nose guy on 3rd down, was trying to get off the field. They went with a nickel package. They had 12 guys out there.
Well, it's a great changeup, too, by Todd Monken. They will occasionally do this after a run play, as they'll get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. And even though they don't get the snap off or get the penalty, they force Dan Mullen to have to call a timeout because they were about to be called for 12 men on the field.
We'll step aside. Georgia 7, Florida nothing early in the first. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood 1.
Capital One checking and savings accounts have no fees or minimums, and a top-rated banking app that lets you manage your money anytime, anywhere, even from your favorite hiking trail. With Capital One's app, you can check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills, and transfer money from wherever you are, anytime you want, even when you're cooking dinner. Open a fee-free checking or savings account online in about 5 minutes. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Customers, students, and staff expect a new level of clean. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. Cintas performs surface sanitizer and disinfectant spray services to common touchpoints, installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, and provides commercial laundry services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Geico presents Left Brain versus Right Brain.
You know, we should switch to Geico.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy.
We could save hundreds of dollars a year on car insurance.
Ooh, with that kind of scratch, we can get the band back together for a reunion tour.
A, we were never in a band. B, Glenn let us play the tambourine on stage one time. And C, we will, however, put that savings towards a new interview suit.
Look what I found. Huh? Still got it.
Oh, no.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Back in Jacksonville, first quarter football. Georgia 7, Florida nothing. Bill Roth and Derek Rackley with you from TIAA Bank Field. Exciting start for the Dogs. A 75-yard touchdown on the very first play from scrimmage, and now they face a 3rd and 7 on the University of Florida 32-yard line. The Dogs sprint onto the field.
Important 3rd down here for Georgia, because the worst thing that could happen is they take a sack here and push them out of field goal range. So Stetson Bennett's got to be thinking that, and I would imagine the Georgia coaches had a chance to tell him that inside of that timeout to make sure that we get the football out of our hands or make this a positive play.
Ball's on the 32-yard line. It is 3rd and 7 for Georgia. 4 receivers, 2 to either side for Stetson Bennett in this passing situation. Back to throw, the heat comes, he's hit as he throws. He delivers it right on the money to Rosemy-Jacksaint, running inside the 5-yard line, and he's in. Touchdown, Georgia. Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint hauled it in, took a big hit, still down in the end zone. Georgia, 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns.
Well, that entire play started with the protection up front. Now, I've mentioned into Stetson Bennett, just make sure he gets this football out of his hands and not take a sack. But he gets great protection up front. A late blitz coming from Florida, and Stetson Bennett ends up taking a hit, but he delivers the not only catchable ball, but almost perfect pass into the hands of Marcus Rosemy-Jack-Saint coming across the middle on a deep dig route. And as you mentioned, Bill, he's still down inside the end zone, getting a lot of attention from the trainers. Looks like he took a hit on the lower leg just as he crossed the goal line.
Well, they tend to the injured Georgia receiver. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. In association with Learfield IMG College, this is Westwood One, your home for NCAA football. Georgia leading 13-0 while they tend to the injured player. Let's step aside. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
We saved big money with our Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and used the cash to take a family vacation.
To Hawaii.
Who's up for a luau?
Yay!
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big money with Progressive, but not enough to go to Hawaii. They'll probably use it for things like the mortgage and groceries, or even a travel magazine, so at least they can see pictures of Hawaii.
Aloha!
Yes, say hello to those beautiful Hawaiian beaches in that magazine. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, windshield washer fluid, and more. Get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs, plus earn double O-Rewards points. Get ready for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jason Horowitz back with you here in our Westwood One studios. Quick update of what's going on around the nation. Number 13, Indiana, knocked off 23rd ranked Michigan 38-21. The Hoosiers snap a 24-game losing skid to the Wolverines. The only one in college football, by the way, in conference that's longer between two teams. Indiana's 25-game skid to Ohio State. They'll play in 2 weeks right here on many of these same Westwood One stations. Meanwhile, number 20 USC trailed Arizona State 27-14 with 3 minutes to go, but scored 2 touchdowns in a 92-second span, including an onside kick to win it 28-27. Speaking of kicks, number 25 Liberty, 51-yard field goal as time expired to win at Virginia Tech 38-35. Flames are 7-0 and 2-0 against the ACC in the last 3 weeks. Back to Bill Roth, Derek Rackley in Jacksonville.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. Here, Marcus Rosemy-Jack-Saint, the terrific freshman wide receiver for the Georgia Bulldogs out of Fort Lauderdale St. Thomas Aquinas High School, hit in his ankle. It looked severe as he was hit. They brought a cart out. They've actually lifted him onto the cart now in the end zone, in the north end zone here at the stadium in Jacksonville, and they're bringing him off the field now. But he did hold on to the football as he went into the end zone. 2 Georgia possessions and 2 touchdowns here in the first 3 minutes and 16 seconds of play.
Yeah, the offense for Georgia is looking really strong. I love the change-ups that they've been doing, running and throwing the football, trying to get the ball in the hands of the running backs coming out of the backfield. Now, it looks like they're going to take another look at this touchdown just to make sure that he was across the goal line with possession, but just you really feel for the young man, Rosemy-Jack-Saint, having to go off on a cart in an injury, as you mentioned, Bill, that did not look good.
It was very curious. Usually when the cart comes out that quickly, the trainers know right away, correct?
Yeah.
Well, if the signals are going at a railroad crossing, don't be tempted to try and sneak across the tracks ever. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA. Well, they're reviewing the play, and it appears, and it is mighty, mighty close. Did he get the ball across before his knee slid down, rather, just near the one?
On the field stands. Touchdown.
So the touchdown stands. It is 13-0 Georgia pending the extra point. The Dogs have had the ball twice in this game. A 75-yard touchdown run on the first play, and then the 32-yard touchdown pass on the second possession.
I just like the fact that Stetson Bennett saw a blitz coming late right in his face, and he knew he was going to take a hit. He delivers this pass, and Boy, not only did he take a hit, that might have even been targeting. Looked like there was a helmet-to-helmet contact that was not reviewed, but nonetheless, Georgia with another touchdown.
Podlensky in to attempt the extra point. It is good, extending the Georgia streak to 310 consecutive extra points. That is the longest such streak in college football, going all the way back to 2014. And so the new score is now Georgia 14, Florida nothing, and there's still 11:44 to go in the first quarter. The Dogs have outgained Florida 136-3. If you are a Florida fan or a Florida player, how do you shake off what's happened here in the first 4 minutes?
Yeah, this has probably been about the worst start that you could draw up if you're a Gators player or fan, because they basically haven't even blinked yet, and they're down by 14 points. And I will tell you that the training staff is looking at Stetson Bennett on the sideline because of that hit that he took right at the end of the play. Looked like the majority of the contact came on his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder, as I'm watching an athletic trainer kind of slide his hand up through his shoulder pads here just to check him out. At this moment, it doesn't look like it's overly serious, but we'll keep an eye on it because Georgia's obviously hoping that he can stay in this game the way that he's gotten off to such a hot start.
Jake Camarda, the kicker for Georgia, the kickoff specialist. His kickoff is in the air and about 8 yards, 9 yards deep on the fly in the end zone. It'll skip through 2 kickoffs and 2 touchbacks for the Georgia kicker. Well, now it's up to Kyle Trask and this explosive Florida offense, which does average 42 points a game. Being down 14-0, yeah, that's a big hole, especially against a Georgia defense. But if there's any team that can come back, and it is still early, it's an explosive team like Florida.
Yeah, they just need one of those big plays that really get this team jump-started and get this offense really feeling good about themselves. They've been able to throw up a ton of yards, 476.5 per game through 4 games this year.
On first down from the 25, Trask, the throw lobs up on the left sideline, and a leaping attempt. It's incomplete as he tried to connect it up with Xavier Henderson. It was incomplete. You know, Malik Herring had a hand in the face of Trask as well.
Well, I tell you what, I understand that Henderson's a freshman, and this is a big moment for him, but that's another pass that he's got to catch. He's got to be able to make that play on the football, put your foot in the ground, go up over the top, and elevate over the defense, and that play right there, just in one snap, would flip the field in the favor of the Gators.
2nd and 10 for Florida, the line of scrimmage, the Gators' 25-yard line. It's already 14-0 Georgia, 11:39 to go in the first quarter. Out of the gun, the handoff goes to Pierce, started right, reverses his field, goes left, dips his shoulder at the 30 and accelerates to the 35. Has the first down to near the 36-yard line before Ojulari brings him down. Pierce had to ad-lib on that play.
Yeah, he ends up starting one direction, has to cut it back, and he actually gets a little bit of a lead block from his quarterback, Kyle Trask. That is, it allows him to pick up the first down. And just as we say this, the rain just starts falling out of the sky, and it's just pouring now.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Florida. That's what happens. The rain comes, and it's a heavy rain here in Jacksonville. But a first down for the Gators, and that is their first of the day. The new line of scrimmage is the 35-yard line. On first down, Pierce gets the handoff again, accelerating hard to the left side, and he's dragged down inbounds by Lewis Seen, the sophomore from Cedar Hill, Texas, who plays the free safety spot for Georgia. But it's a good run of about 6 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 4 for Florida.
Yeah, Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator for Florida, is feeling like he needs to mix in a little bit more run game to kind of settle things down in the passing game, because Trask has not been able to sit back there and kind of sort through the defense to deliver the football. He's been under some kind of pressure from this Georgia front seven throughout this course of the game early on.
Georgia leading 14-0. Florida on 2nd and 4 from its 41. Trask on a play fake, fires to the left sideline, and an over-the-shoulder grab by Zipperer. Down the left sideline to the 30 in Georgia territory, accelerating inside the 20, and he's knocked out of bounds near the 15-yard line by Sign. It's a 39-yard pickup to Keon Zipperer, the sophomore tight end.
You know, he just comes out on a little bit of an out route and a corner route, but I didn't know if the defense slipped or if he ended up pushing off of Lewis Seen, because he ended up wide open coming out of his break.
Moves the football all the way to the 20-yard line officially, and now the Gators look to respond. They've been perfect this year in the red zone. 21 of 21 is Brian Johnson's offense, and it's first down on the 20. Kyle Trask, the fifth-year man out of Texas, drops the throw once again. First man's covered, dumps it off to the second man. That's Whittemore for a short gain, and then he's shoved backwards after a pickup of a yard by Scene once again.
And
Second and 9.
That was just kind of a late dump off there, Bill, because, again, he started to face some late pressure from this Georgia defense. And credit the Bulldogs early on because they got right on top of everything that was happening downfield. He had to just dump this one off, and he was fortunate to get just a 1-yard gain.
It's been an exciting and explosive game thus far. Georgia, 2 touchdowns on the board. Now here come the Gators down to the 19. We're just 5.5 minutes into the game. On 2nd down and 9 from the Georgia 19 out of the gun. The handoff goes to Damian Pierce running right up the middle. Gets down to the 15-yard line. 5 yards on the 2nd down play. Sign and Tyson Campbell, the corner, bring down Damian Pierce, the tailback. They go quick. 3rd down. The line of scrimmage, the 14 of Georgia. Trask looking over his left shoulder to the sideline where the play is signaled in. They'll go trips to the right and 1 receiver to the left. The lone back remains Damian Pierce. 3rd down on the 14 for Trask. Calling for the ball in the rain here in Jacksonville. Snap comes back. Here comes the rush. A little jump pass. Caught over the middle by Shorter. Sprinting into the end zone. Touchdown Gators. He jumped to throw the football. Did Trask. It's his 19th touchdown of the season, and Justin Shorter takes it in for 6.
Now, Justin Shorter plays the wide receiver position, but he's almost like a tight end body at 6'5", 225 pounds. He's just coming on a really kind of a lazy, shallow crossing route, catches the ball over the middle, as you mentioned. Trask getting out of his hands, gets a little bit of a block downfield, gets into the end zone for a touchdown.
Evan McPherson in to attempt the extra point, and it's in the air, and it is good. So we have played 6 minutes and 40 seconds of SEC football, and a Big 12 game is broken out. 14-7 is the score.
Yeah, that's how things have shifted in college football. Even here in the SEC, these offenses are all about putting points on the board now.
Going to be a lot of fun today. Well, it's time to Ask the Pros, where we ask our analyst a question, and it is submitted by one of our listeners. It's sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And today's question comes from Steve McCroskey in Chicago. Steve wants to know, how does the Pac-12 kicking off its season today change the landscape of college football? Good question, Steve. And while Derek ponders over that one, we remind you that you can submit your question for our pros by tweeting us at Westwood One Sports. Use the hashtag AskThePros or log on to westwoodonesports.com/AskThePros. It's all sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think about that. I wonder what they're thinking today up in Ann Arbor.
Well, I'll tell you what, this one has been kind of a weird game because Georgia got off to such a great start. Florida comes back, and then all of a sudden it starts pouring here at TIAA Bank Field for a passing offense. They shake that off. They march all the way down the field. They get a touchdown on the board, and then just like that, the rain stops. So I know you live down in Florida. You live in South Florida. Bill, you mentioned that this is just some of the things that happen in the afternoon in this state.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, you know it will happen. It's a great rivalry, but it's taken to the next level now. And the Dan Mullen Kirby Smart rivalry, you got to go back to that 2008 SEC championship game. It was 12 years ago, remember? Mullen was the offensive coordinator here. Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator for Coach Saban in Alabama. That's when this whole rivalry started between Mullen and Smart.
Yeah, these two guys have been playing against each other for a long time in this conference, and they know each other well, and I'm sure that there's a lot of mutual respect for each other as far as what they do offensively and defensively, and just like that, you're seeing Dan Mullen's team respond and come back and cut this down to just a one-score game, and I'm sure Kirby Smart would tell you that he's not surprised that they're going to come back and they're going to fight and they're going to make this a game.
Evan McPherson to kick things off for Florida after the jump pass touchdown from Trask to Shorter. Pierce Jackson waiting for the kick return for the Georgia Bulldogs. 14-7, UGA leading. 8:20 to go in the first. Here's the run-up by McPherson. And the kick is in the air, and this may be returnable. It will be from about a half a yard deep in the end zone by Kyrus Jackson. Sprints right up the right hash mark, crosses the 20, explodes at the 30, still going at the 40, and the kicker wrestles him down right across midfield all the way down to the 41-yard line. Everything George is touching is turning up just the way Smart would want it. It's a 68-yard kickoff return by the Georgia Bulldogs' Kyrus Jackson.
And it looks like we have a Florida Gator player down on the turf that's hurt. He's getting some attention from the Florida training staff. But I tell you what, somebody on the Florida kickoff coverage team missed a running lane, as we call it, because there's lanes on kickoff coverage that you're supposed to clog up. And for Kyrus Jackson to be able to run full speed straight down the field without even being contacted, somebody had to have missed his assignment. They ran out of their lanes. Good blocking, good protection up front by that kickoff return team. And a great start to this drive at the Florida 44-yard line.
What we don't know, because we know there's a lot of guys out, right? Like Richard LeCount is out, and Georgia has some guys out. You don't know how that might impact your kick coverage team, too, right? You might have somebody new on punt coverage and kick coverage in a game.
Yeah, a lot of times you see in the SEC, especially a lot of times it's head coach dependent. Head coaches, when they feel like that third phase of the game, kicking game, is just as important as the other two, you see the starters on offense or defense playing on those units, and you're right, if one of them comes out, elevates another guy up that maybe hasn't gotten enough game experience playing those positions.
In any event, Georgia leading 14-7 is going to have great field position on the Gators' 44-yard line. Hey, remember, if you can't get to a radio or hear us each week, you can listen online any week to every college football game we broadcast this season for free. Just go to our website, westwoodonesports.com. Well, the Georgia offense will start on the 44-yard line. They've had the ball twice. They've piled up 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first 7 minutes of the game. James Cook in the game at running back, the junior from Miami, one of 4 terrific Georgia tailbacks. They send Demetrius Robertson in motion right to left, trips to the left on the first down play, and the handoff goes to James Cook. Started right, then puts his foot on the ground and accelerates to the left side. Got about 3 yards on the play. Amari Burney, the junior from St. Petersburg, makes the tackle for the Florida Gators.
And they're going to start the drive with James Cook, but immediately get Zamir White back into the game. And there's times, as we've mentioned, that they'll run with both of those guys in the backfield because Zamir White, more of the downhill runner style of the two. And even though we just saw James Cook run the football, he's probably the better receiver out of the backfield.
2nd and 7 from the 41. This will be the 8th play from scrimmage for the Dogs. And a quick throw to the right sideline, incomplete, as the throw by Bennett sailed low and away, and it will be 3rd down now, 3rd and 7 from the 41.
And we talked about the training staff looking at Stetson Bennett's shoulder, and right after he threw that football, he kind of made that motion with his arm like he's trying to stretch it out, or that he's still not 100% comfortable with it. As we watch him down on the field, he's still kind of moving that thing around a little bit. He's clearly not comfortable.
3rd and 7 from the 41 of the Gators. Ball is on the right hash. Trips to the left side, 1 receiver to the right for Georgia on 3rd down. Here comes an all-out blitz, and it's a mishandled snap. It's loose on the field, just shy of midfield, and Georgia covers it. I don't think he ever got the football. The snap was a bit low to Bennett.
Well, this was actually a great snap. This is one that Stetson Bennett should have handled just fine. They have had some issues with Trey Hill and some of his shotgun snaps, but not this one. This is just a classic case of Stetson Bennett looking upfield first before he secures the football. A lot of times quarterbacks just take that part for granted, that they kind of secure that snap from center with more peripheral vision than they're doing just staring at it because they're trying to read the defense.
It was a very good snap. So now Camarda comes in to punt the football away. First punt of the day for the Dogs, and it's a high punt that hits at the 7 and skips into the end zone for a touchback. So after falling behind 14-0 and giving up the big kickoff return, a touchdown, and now the Gators are going to get the ball back. Have they settled things down a little bit here in this first quarter?
I definitely think they've settled down, especially responding with that touchdown drive on their previous possession, but getting a stop defensively, and some of that might have been more to Georgia miscues on that drive because Bulldogs start with the ball on the Gators' 44-yard line, and they end up going backwards, having to punt the football back. That's definitely a win for Florida's offense. Now let's see if Kyle Trask can kind of take advantage of that mishap by Georgia.
Yeah, and I think they'll continue to look at the right shoulder of Bennett. He threw a poor pass, grabbed his shoulder, and then fumbled the snap. Gators get the ball back on first down. Trask the throw, and he dumps it off to Pitts, his first touch of the day. And he gets ahead for about 5 yards. That's actually Davis, my mistake. Malik Davis, the junior tailback out of Tampa. Quay Walker made the tackle on Davis.
Yeah, without trying to take anything away from Davis, I will tell you that DeJuan Mathis for Georgia, the backup quarterback, is on the bike on the sidelines. Maybe he's warming up his legs, so we'll see if that ends up playing out once Georgia gets the football back.
14-7, Georgia with the lead. Gators have the football. 2nd and 5 on their own 25 from the right hash. Handoff once again goes to the tailback, and there goes Davis picking his way along the line and then accelerates to the 31-yard line. That'll be enough for the first down. Simon Campbell make the tackle on the junior from Tampa. Strong running tailback Malik Davis.
Yeah, one of the areas that Georgia's been so good at this entire season is stopping the run. They've allowed just 80 yards per game, which is 5th best in the country. Again, some of those injuries might affect their ability to be so stout against the run.
Clock turning, 5:44 to go in the first quarter. Trask on this first down play dumps it off short to Tony well behind the line of scrimmage, and the Dogs gang up on him. That's Monty Rice pushing him way back. It'll be a 4-yard loss on the play as Tony in the left flat slipped and then went down.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Bill, that's a fantastic play by Monty Rice. This is a linebacker at 235 pounds that's moving side to side, and then Tony, who's probably one of the more athletic players, not only on the Gators team, in college football, tries to put his foot in the ground to get out of that tackle, and Rice still gets him down to the ground. That's an excellent defensive play.
He's been the leading tackler for this team the last 2 years in the rivalry game against the Gators. On 2nd down and long, Kyle Trask drops the throw, floats it down the left sideline, and an over-the-shoulder grab for the first down at midfield. Davis coming right down the sideline, floated in there beautifully by Trask for the first down.
Yeah, he gets his second catch in this game, and he gets somewhat of a mismatch with Jermaine Johnson at 240 pounds, the linebacker for Georgia, trailing him. And that's a beautifully thrown ball by Kyle Trask, because once you see that you get the running back out of the backfield, you still got to execute with the throw, and he dropped that one in the bucket.
Naquan Wright is into the game for the first time. Gets the ball on first down, puts his shoulders down, bangs off the first tackle, and gets ahead for 5 yards before Lewis Sign brought him down. Hey, you mentioned in the pregame in your keys to the game finding the mismatches. That would be one, right?
Yeah, definitely would be one. And the interesting part is they haven't gotten Tony or Pitts out on one of these mismatches, but it's just a matter of time.
Away from play, Bennett, the Georgia quarterback, being taken to the locker room here in Jacksonville. Gators have the ball. Trask dumps it off again, and Tony has it and immediately gets chopped to the deck. It'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play.
Tyreek Stevenson coming in to make that play, and that's, again, another great individual effort, just kind of diving at the feet of that ball carrier with the ability to get him down on the ground. Brings up a big third down here for both teams. Which one's going to win this matchup?
It's 3rd and 4. The line of scrimmage is the 44-yard line of Georgia. The Dogs leading 14-7 here in the first quarter. Gators in their white jerseys and blue pants driving towards the south end zone from our left to our right here in Jacksonville. Out of the gun, handoff goes to Wright. Plows his way off left tackle, has the first down ahead of the 39-yard line. Devontae Wyatt, the senior from Decatur, Georgia, makes the tackle, but the Gators move the sticks on a strong run by freshman Naquan Wright.
Pretty good job up front by that offensive line, too, neutralizing the defensive front from Georgia as Wright just kind of sifted his way through the line to pick up the first down.
Gators going fast. They get Malik Davis back into the ballgame at tailback. The line is the 39 of Georgia. There goes Tony in motion, right to left. Trask to throw. The rush comes. He gets it out of there down the right sideline. A leaping catch by Pitts at the 10. And he goes down to the 5-yard line. And there's Pitts showing us his 6'6" frame hooking up with Trask for a 34-yard completion.
Bill, you remember me talking about the freshman Xavier Henderson missing the opportunity to go up over the top? Well, how about the junior Kyle Pitts shows him how to do it with pretty good coverage from Tyreek Stevenson. He puts his foot in the ground, he elevates to go up over the top, make that catch, and get the Gators down to the 5-yard line.
Emory Jones is coming to the game at quarterback for the Florida Gators, and a quick timeout has been taken by Georgia. It was 14-0 Georgia. 3.5 minutes into the game, but whoa, the Gators have come roaring back. It's 14-7, and they have first and goal on the 5. Hey, visit Masters.com next week for complete tournament coverage of the 84th Masters, including live video. Every player, every shot, all week long. Masters.com, your online source for the 2020 Masters.
Well, it took a while to get the ball into the hands of Kyle Pitts, but they did it in the tune of 34 yards and a very important play for them to continue this drive. Remember, they had just picked up the first down, and then they take the shot downfield, and Pitts does exactly what he needs to do. It's a great individual effort. The throw wasn't that great, but I think Trask knew the quality and the ability of his tight end downfield to kind of help bail him out a little bit. He goes up over the top of Stevenson to make that catch, puts his head down and picks up a couple more yards, and just like that, this explosive offense that we talked about for the Florida Gators knocking on the door once again to get in the end zone.
What emotional swings we have seen here today. Georgia appeared to be in complete control in the first 3 minutes of the game. They take a 14-0 lead. Everything is going right. Now their quarterback is in the locker room being treated for an apparent shoulder injury, and here come the Gators on the doorstep to potentially tie the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I talked about after that first drive, that Kyle Trask, he's got to just focus on his task at hand. And they always say, play your 1/11th, right? You can't worry about what's happening to the defense. You can't worry about the fact that you're behind on the scoreboard. You just have to worry about executing offensively, and that's exactly what Kyle Trask has been able to do along with the rest of this offense. As I mentioned, is they're sitting right here on the doorstep 5 yards away from scoring another touchdown.
First and goal on the 5. Trask returns to the game at quarterback. The ball is on the right hash mark. They've got two tight ends on the right. Trask to throw a quick slant to the end zone through the hands of Copeland, incomplete. It was well delivered, and Copeland probably will tell you, I should have made that catch.
Yeah, there was pretty good coverage there, but you got to realize when you're down by the goal line, you're not going to get a free release coming off the line of scrimmage. And pretty good coverage by Eric Stokes, not only at the line of scrimmage, but as he comes off trying to run that quick slant right inside the goal line. Pretty good position to be in, no pass interference called either. Good coverage.
Second and goal on the 5. Ball remains on the right hash mark for Florida. Dameon Pierce is in the game in the backfield now. Snap comes back to Trask, puts his shoulders down, tries to run for it, gets to the 2-yard line. He gets submarined there by Christopher Smith, the strong safety. It will be third and goal for Florida on the 2.
Yeah, not necessarily known as a running quarterback either, and it looked like this was just kind of one of those dialed-up quarterback runs where he's going to follow back behind some of his blockers in what you call a +1, right? When you get your running back blocking out in front of you, it's an extra blocker, but well defended by Georgia.
Third and goal on the 2. 4 receivers in the game, 2 to either side on third down. Trask takes the snap, turns, hands to Pierce, runs up the middle for the touchdown. Second score of the year for Dameon Pierce, and after falling behind 14-0 in this first quarter, here come the Gators.
You know, again, this explosive offense, talking about throwing the football throughout the course of the game. Sometimes you got to do what's the best option for you, and that's running the football. Coming into the game, Dameon Pierce through 4 games, just 169 yards rushing. He was the leading rusher, so it's not something that they've made an emphasis on. But once you get inside the 5-yard line, you just don't get cute sometimes. You just need to run the football, trust your offensive line, and Pierce is able to pour that one into the end zone.
Gators have had 23 red zone possessions this year. They are 100%. They've scored on all 23, and that includes 18 touchdowns. They're good inside the 20. They're great. Here's the extra point attempt by McPherson. It is good, and we are all tied in Jacksonville after spotting Georgia a 2-touchdown lead early. Florida's come roaring back to tie things up. Let's go to our studios and get a scoreboard update. Here's Jason Horowitz.
All right, Bill Roth, let's take you to the Big Ten, where some of the things going on in the conference look very different than what you're used to. Heading to the start of the second quarter, Maryland leads at Penn State 14-0. Talia Tagovailoa 7 of 8 for 147 yards and both scores for the Terps. Remember, Penn State's already 0-2, and earlier in the day, number 13 Indiana beat 23rd-ranked Michigan 38-21. So the Hoosiers are 3-0. Michigan's 1-2, and Northwestern is 3-0. So the undefeated teams in the Big Ten, Ohio State, who plays Rutgers later on tonight, Indiana, Northwestern, and Purdue, who was supposed to play today, but their game with Wisconsin postponed due to COVID-19 with the Badgers. Bill?
I can't imagine the conversations between Michigan and Penn State fans today, right?
Exactly. Especially when they, number one, think about how their season has gone so far. Number two, they look up at the standings and they're like, just what Jason was talking about. Who is undefeated so far? We knew Ohio State probably had a pretty good chance of that happening, but those other teams, maybe not so much.
Well, the Gators take 5:01 off the clock. They go 80 yards in 11 plays. Damian Pierce, a Georgia native playing for Florida, ties the game up at 14. Kickoff coming back to Georgia, and this one will go into the end zone for a touchback, and Georgia will get it on the 25-yard line. Well, let's see how Stetson Bennett looks now.
Well, we won't get a chance to see how Stetson Bennett looks because it looks like we're going to get a chance to see Dewan Mathis because I believe they brought him back in the locker room. I didn't see him come back out, Bill, and I see number 2 in the huddle for Georgia. And we'll get a chance to see, yep, it is Dewan Mathis coming back out. So remember, Dewan Mathis started the opener against Arkansas, ran into some troubles. The Georgia offense was not clicking. That's when they turned things over to Stetson Bennett, and they were able to get that victory because of his production. But he's going to have to come in, at least for the near term, and see if he can keep this offense moving downfield.
Yeah, he started Arkansas. They pulled him in the second quarter. He's a young man out of Michigan. On first down, they fake the inside handoff and then give it to Burton on an end around. And he is knocked down behind the line of scrimmage by Marco Wilson, who did not fall for that fake whatsoever.
That was pretty good contained by Wilson. I mean, he saw that one playing out in the backfield, and he plays with the right leverage. So he takes that angle where he goes outside in on Jermaine Burton, forces him back into the rest of the defense, and they just push him out of bounds for basically no gain.
It'll be second down and 11. A minute 25 and counting in the first quarter. Georgia 14, Florida 14. Second and 11 from the 24. Handoff once again goes to Burton, this time running right. He's elusive, bangs off one tackle and another, trying to stretch for the first down. He finally gets slung out of bounds by Marco Wilson, but Burton, the freshman from Calabasas, California, did well on that play.
We got Brenton Cox, the defensive end for Florida, lost his helmet and was down momentarily. But as the trainers came out on the field, he popped right back up and ran off the field. He was the one that had a chance to bring down Burton in the backfield, but slips off the tackle. And how about the individual effort by the freshman Burton, just continuing to move his legs? They actually gave him a loss of a yard on that previous play, but he picks up 10 for a 3rd and short here.
So it'll be 3rd down and 1. Both Zamir White and James Cook, two terrific tailbacks into the ball game now for Georgia. And Dewan Mathis will go up under center. You don't see this very often for Georgia. And now whistles stop the play. And a timeout before the snap.
Play is under review to determine whether the runner's knee was down prior to being tackled.
You know, I saw this one play out, and it looked like it was just great individual balance by Jermaine Burton, but it looked like his knee came down as he was trying to put his foot in the ground. He slips a little bit. We're taking a chance to look at the replay, and yeah, not only did one knee come down, both of them came down. The right and left knees ended up touching the ground. So this one's going to end up coming back and not end up being such a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, it's going to go from 3rd and 1 to maybe 3rd and 5 or 6. And so they're looking at it now. The referee for today's game is James Carter. He's looking at the replay. I've got a James Carter story for you, okay?
Yeah.
But first, stay up to date with Westwood One Sports by following us on Twitter at Westwood One Sports. That's Westwood, the number 1, then sports. You'll also find a link on our Twitter page and much, much more at westwoodonesports.com. So James Carter, our referee today, is a second-generation football official. His dad was a longtime football official, and he grew up going to his dad's games. Most people go to games to see their favorite team, right?
Right.
He went to games with his dad, who was on the field as a referee, and he always wanted to do it, and he did it. It's about his 10th year in the SEC, and he's turned into one of the top SEC officials. He worked the SEC championship game last year, which was a big game, and he's getting to work the Georgia-Florida game here today as well. So that is the story on this gentleman, 51-year-old James Carter.
was determined that the runner was down at the 28-yard line. It'll be third down from that spot.
So it'll bring up a 3rd and 7 with 47 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Meanwhile, Georgia fans applaud as Stetson Bennett came racing across the field to the Georgia bench. He had been in the locker room, so he's back.
Not only did he go to the bench, he went right to his helmet, and I thought maybe there was a chance he was going to come back on the field for this pivotal 3rd down, but they're going to keep Dwan Mathis out there.
Mathis is in the gun on 3rd down and 7 with 37 seconds to go in the first. Back to throw, flips to the left side. It's caught by Kyrus Jackson, who rumbles ahead to the 33-yard line, maybe the 34, and he's knocked down there shy of the first down. It will be 4th down. Sean Davis, the free safety, made the tackle. 20 seconds and counting, but a punt now coming up for the Dogs.
Yeah, there was a chance that Jackson might end up sliding out of this tackle, but Sean Davis, a good job of just kind of hanging on for dear life. And as soon as Kyrus Jackson hit the turf, I saw Sean Davis look up at the sticks. He wanted to see whether or not he picked up the first down. He realized that he was about 1.5 yards short.
Clock is turning, and they will not get the punt off in time. The first quarter clock expired before the snap came back to the Georgia punter. And that is the end of the first period, and what a quarter it was. Georgia scores 2 touchdowns in the opening 4 minutes of play. Florida comes roaring back to tie things up. At the end of the first quarter, the score, Georgia 14, Florida 14. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Home has meant everything to us, and Lowe's is the place to get everything for the season. Like pre-lit artificial trees from GE that were $199 and are now just $169. Or holiday living string lights in white or multicolors starting at just $298. Because gifts for home bring joy to all. Lowe's, home for the holidays. Find holiday decorations, gifts, and great deals at Lowe's.com. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Special value valid through 11/18. See sales associate for details. U.S. only.
The Masters, a tradition unlike any other, is coming November 9th through the 15th. Follow the world's best golfers, including defending champion Tiger Woods, as they compete for the coveted green jacket on the official website, Masters.com. All week long, get up-to-the-minute tournament news, real-time scoring, plus live video coverage featuring every player and every shot of the 2020 Masters Tournament. Go to Masters.com.
Now another edition of Obvious News from Geico.
Obvious News!
A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve Sage about this, and here's what he said.
Honestly, I don't buy it. I think I make very captivating radio.
Also in Obvious News, Geico makes it easy to save money and easy to manage your policy with the Geico app. So switching is a really smart decision. How does Steve feel about this?
Oh, I love the Geico app. I use it all the time.
That's Obvious News from Geico.
Obvious News!
Welcome back to Jacksonville. Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Bill Roth. Our score after 15 minutes of play, the Georgia Bulldogs 14, the Florida Gators 14. The start of the second quarter is sponsored by Geico. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and car insurance. Having a home is hard work, so get a quote at geico.com. Easy. Well, what a first quarter that was. Catch your breath. Georgia jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Gators came roaring back to tie things up after one quarter. A pair of top 10 teams meeting the rain stopped, and now we got a little drizzle, I believe, coming back here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's definitely some cloudy skies. Looks like we might have weather being part of the forecast this afternoon, which most people will tell you, in football, that doesn't matter. You're going to have to play through the elements. So there might be some conditions, some guys slipping, some balls coming out of the quarterback's hands wrong, but we'll end up seeing if that ends up making a difference.
Well, the quarter is going to begin with a punt for Georgia as the teams flip ends. And the punter is a terrific kicker, Jake Camarda, who's also their kickoff guy. He's the #1 punter in college football. He's averaging over 50 yards per punt. He stands at his own 18-yard line. Kadarius Toney, the return man for the Florida Gators, who have come back. They've gotten back-to-back 3-and-outs defensively. They got their offense going, and they've settled things down. Here's the punt, and it is a beauty, a high spiral. Toney waiting for it, waiting, calls for the fair catch, and takes it near the 15-yard line. That's a 51-yard punt for Camarda, which is right on his average.
Right at the number. Yeah. And as soon as you mentioned that, he leads the country at that field position that he was at, I was like, yeah, he's going to try to uncork one right here because he's got a lot of field to work with. It wasn't one of his greatest efforts, but yet you look up and it was still over 51 yards.
Well, so now that the Gators are back even, let's see how head coach Dan Mullen and his offensive coordinator Brian Johnson attack the Dogs now. Line of scrimmage is the 16-yard line. Quarterback Kyle Trask is in the gun, sends Toney in motion to the right and throws it to him on the first down play. Sidearm flip to the 20, and he's knocked out of bounds near the 21-yard line. It's a pickup of 5.
Yeah, those plays are so easy. When you get a guy that's got the athletic ability and the quickness that Toney has, you can come across the formation. It's hard to defend defensively because he's just going up the field about 3 steps, turning out. And if the quarterback can throw that on time, it's almost like a running play where you can pick up 5 or 6 quick yards.
Trips to the left, one receiver to the right for Trask, who's completed 9 of his last 10. He turns and hands it off to Pierce, who runs hard to the right side this time. Gets ahead for maybe a yard or 2. Nakobe Dean submarines him and brings him down there. It'll be 3rd and 3.
That was a good read by Dean because it was almost like he was in the Gators huddle that time. He saw Pierce getting the football in the backfield, and he just shoots through the line to make that tackle. One of the reasons why Georgia's been so good against the run has been obviously the film study throughout the course of the week, recognizing what the defense is doing, but not hesitating and going and making a play.
3rd and 3 from the 23. Ball is on the right hash mark. Trask to throw once again. Good protection this time. Flips it right to the tight end underneath, and he runs for the first down ahead to the 36-yard line. That's shorter. His second catch of the day. Eric Stokes brings him down. So after misfiring on his first 3 attempts, Trask has now hit 10 of his last 11.
Yeah, and this one he kind of just buys enough time on the double crossing route between the receiver shorter and the tight end Kyle Pitts. They're just trying to rub the defense off of each other's bodies, especially when you have a 3rd and short situation. It's a great way to pick up a first down because it's hard to defend as a defense, and they're able to move the chains.
Davis back in at tailback. He takes the handoff, ran right, runs left, and nothing doing. The Georgia defensive line is there to shove him back. No gain on the play. Monty Rice, the money linebacker, Devontae Wyatt, the veteran defensive end, made that play.
You're getting wholesale substitutions by Georgia here, rotating 5 new guys in the game, trying to make sure that they've got guys that are rested, especially on this more predictable passing down on 2nd and long, see if they can get some guys in there that are fresh and ready to get after the quarterback.
From the 27-yard line, 14-14 the score. Trask barking out the signals, takes the snap, hands to Pierce again, and another big collision right along the line of scrimmage. If you're going to run against the Georgia defense, get ready. That was Malik Herring lowering the boom. They're going to go fast, no huddle. 3rd down and 9. Trask to throw, aims, fires, and it is intercepted right on the 35-yard line by Stokes. Running it back to the 20. Stokes down the sideline to the 5, and he will score. Now they're saying that perhaps he stepped out early. The official in the end zone has his hands in the air, and that's going to stand. Stokes with the pick 6.
2nd time this year that Stokes has returned an interception for a touchdown. He did it in the opener against Arkansas. In this one, reads the quarterback. The ball gets bobbled initially, but he's able to concentrate on it and get it back. And then he comes up the Georgia sideline, just bursts forward to pick that interception and get into the end zone.
The extra point is good, and Eric Stokes on the pick 6 has put the Dogs back in the lead. Georgia 21, Florida 14. And you're listening to Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football.
How can we help each other and the planet during these historic, uncertain times? Did you know that there are millions of farmers in developing nations using harmful practices that not only make it hard for them to make ends meet, but also hurt the environment? The good news is there's a solution. For more than 30 years, nonprofit Trees for the Future has planted over 180 million trees and helped tens of thousands of farmers achieve independence and stability so that they're able to weather any storm. Trees for the Future trains farmers to rethink farming and use trees to flatten the curve on environmental harm while improving their nutrition and income. Let's come together to build a better future for communities in need and the planet. Learn more at trees.org/radio. That's TREES.org/radio. This message is sponsored by Trees for the Future.
My husband, Alex Hussey, was hit by an IED in Afghanistan.
I was point man on foot patrol, and I stopped on the bomb. Lost my legs and my left hand in an explosion.
DAV helps veterans of every generation to get the benefits they've earned.
To see Alex learning to snow ski, that's life-changing.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
This has meant so much. Thank you, DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Bill Roth and Derek Rackley here in the Grainger broadcast booth at TIAA Bank Field. For the ones who get it done on and off the field, there's Grainger. Get the supplies and solutions for every industry when you call. Click Grainger.com or just stop by. Georgia 21, Florida 14. Stokes 37-yard pick six. Tiptoeing down the sidelines, and the Dogs retake the lead.
Yeah, interesting stat to follow through the rest of this game, Bill. Georgia, under Kirby Smart, is 14-0 when scoring a non-offensive touchdown. So this is a little bit of a different opponent, one that can score quite easily in the Florida Gators, but we'll see if they're able to keep that statistic rolling in their favor.
Before the play, they went really fast. They went no huddle. Did they go, well, too fast?
Well, you could always say in hindsight 2020, sure, maybe that had something to do with it. But, again, when you're going against a defense like Georgia, even with some of the injuries that they have, these guys are opportunistic. They're going to find a way to make the quarterback uneasy, and they just made a play. I mean, I think both offenses are going to find their time to use tempo to their advantage, but every once in a while, yes, it will jump up and bite you.
Jake Armada of UGA to kick it back, a high kickoff. That young man is going to be kicking in this stadium, I believe, for another team for the next few years.
Yeah, you think maybe he'll be kicking at the next level? Got a really good chance of doing so.
Well, his kickoff goes through the end zone on the fly. We have an injured Bulldog on their kick coverage team, acting as almost as if it is a cramp, and that is Stokes, who had the interception return for the touchdown, I believe, who is the injured player. Or a second player who wears Stokes' number. It's actually
like Nate McBride.
Nate McBride is the
backup linebacker and special teams player. He's up on his feet and he's walking off under his own power. Looks like he was a little momentarily shaken up.
So Georgia had the 14-0 lead. All the momentum. They were singing the Georgia fight song throughout the stadium. Then the Gators came roaring back to tie it. And they were singing the Florida fight song. Now no one's sure what's going on.
Yeah.
What a crazy game. 21-14 early going in quarter number 2. Gators have it on their own 25. We did have some rain earlier. It's come on and off today. A light drizzle at the moment. First down for Florida. Trask, a quick throw to the right sideline. On the run, Tony the catch. Tony across the 40 to the 50. Into Georgia territory. Down the sideline. Still going and knocked out of bounds on the 25-yard line. 50-yard completion.
And I think that's the second or third time that Trask has seen one of his running backs come out of the backfield. This is Naquan Wright, number 6, that ends up getting a step on Monty Rice, and once again, somewhat of a mismatch. Even though Monty Rice is a really athletic linebacker, when you get a running back that's coming out of the backfield with a full head of steam, and a linebacker that's running laterally, he's going to run past him 9 times out of 10.
What a comeback for Trask after the pick 6. Back to throw again. Ames fires right side over the shoulder, grab in the end zone. Touchdown! There is a flag on the play. Pitts made the reception in the end zone. Campbell had the coverage on the play. Let's see what the flag is. What an answer for Florida if it stands.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 3. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
And that's right there, Bill's the reason why this guy's regarded as one of the best tight ends in the country, because they can stick him out on the perimeter and he can run this route just as good as, if not better than, many wide receivers, but his ball skills too. I mean, he's got a Georgia defender draped all over the top of him, and Tyson Campbell, that interferes with him, and he still finds a way to come up and make the catch for a touchdown. I mean, this guy right here has got a bright future. You talk about playing on Sundays? Just wait for this one.
I know. What a job by Pitts. Another touchdown pass for Trask. That's his 20th of the season. The drive was just a 39-second touchdown drive. After giving up the pick 6, Trask and the Gators come right back. 21-21 the score, 11:38 to go in the first half. And you're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
Other banks charge fees on savings and checking accounts. Doesn't sound good, does it? Capital One reimagined banking. So it sounds more like this. With Capital One, you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. Get started now at a Capital One location or online. Sound good to you? This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Approval required. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Home has meant everything to us, and Lowe's is the place to get everything for the season. Like pre-lit artificial trees from GE that were $199 and are now just $169. Or holiday living string lights in white or multicolors starting at just $298. Because gifts for home bring joy to all. Lowe's, home for the holidays. Find holiday decorations, gifts, and great deals at Lowe's.com. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Special value valid through 11/18. See sales associate for details. U.S. only.
Jason Horowitz back with you in our Westwood One studios. Get you back to Jacksonville, where Florida and Georgia tied at 21 in just a moment. But let's get you caught up on what else is going on in the country. And while people expect, at least perception-wise, games like this to be played in the Big 12, not really the case this year. 14th-ranked Oklahoma State trailing Kansas State 3-0. That one's in the second quarter. Meanwhile, number 19 Oklahoma not really blowing out Kansas just yet. 14-0, middle part of the second quarter. Maryland on top of Penn State, 21-7. Deep into the second quarter in Happy Valley. That on a day where Indiana beat Michigan today for the first time since 1987. More on that coming up at halftime. Back to Bill Roth and Derek Rackley in Jacksonville.
All right, Jason, thanks. All right, add this up for us. We've got 42 points, 400 yards of offense between these two teams. We've just started the second quarter.
We've got 11:38 left in the second, and we've had all of this action already. I mean, it's not normally like this. I mean, there's usually a little bit more defense here, specifically from Georgia's standpoint. But the fact that you got offenses that are out here making plays, and then, of course, the defensive play made by Georgia is the reason why we've got so many points scored.
Florida's already had a game like this played this season. Remember their season opener, the Ole Miss game?
Yeah.
So it's like
it's happened to everybody that's played Ole Miss. It's ended up being a shootout.
But a big play goes against you. They shake it off. I mean, Trask throws a pick 6. They fall behind. He comes roaring right back. They score in 39 seconds. Here's McPherson with the run up and the kickoff coming back to Georgia. After having an explosive kick return the last time, Jackson runs this one across the 10 to the 15, and he's submarined near the 17-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 there for Georgia.
Now it looks like Stetson Bennett is back in the huddle on the sideline with the Bulldogs with his helmet on. So it looks like he's coming back in. Dewan Mathis is still sitting on the sideline with his helmet off. So maybe somewhat refreshing for Georgia to get their quarterback Bennett back in the game. But we'll see if he ends up having any lingering issues with that shoulder injury back from the first quarter.
Georgia goes with his 3 tight end set. Remember, this was the formation it used on the very first play of the game, with a 3rd tight end in there. First down and 10 from the 17-yard line. And the handoff goes on first down to Milton, and this time the Gators pushing back. What are the advantages to doing a 3 tight end set?
Well, I mean, there's both ways. I mean, number one, you're basically telling the defense what you're going to do when you go a heavy package like that, unless you've got athletic receivers that you trust coming out. But that way you get so much extra run blocking up front for combinations along with the tackles to double teams with those 2 tight ends. But sometimes it doesn't always go in the direction of the overload. They'll use that as a decoy and come back the other side. So play callers sometimes use it to their advantage, but they also use it as a decoy.
First play of the game, they went 3 tight end, and Zamir White rambled 75 yards for the touchdown on the opening snap of the day for Georgia. We've got an injured Florida player down on the field in front of the Florida bench.
It looks like that might be Brad Stewart, number 2, one of the defensive backs here for the Gators. There's been a lot of guys that have gone down with some injuries, some more severe than others, but
it is Stewart. Remember, they had a fight last week in the game in Gainesville, and Zachary Carter, one of their defensive tackles, is suspended for the first half. So the Gators are a little bit undermanned on the defensive line. Carter will be eligible to play in the second half. He's on the sidelines watching.
Yeah, they just got a chance to see Stewart, and he came in and kind of lowered his shoulder to come in and make that tackle, and he stayed on his feet, but after the play, he was favoring his left arm, kind of the forearm area, and he's going to go into the medical tent for the Gators to get that checked out.
11:08 to go in the first half. Florida 21, Georgia 21. It's second down and 9 from the 18-yard line. The ball is in the middle of the field, and the quarterback Stetson Bennett slaps his hands together, takes the shotgun snap and backpedals to throw. Steps into one over the middle and a sliding grab on the 37-yard line for the first down by Kyrus Jackson. Nicely done and a beautiful throw for Bennett. 18-yard pickup. They'll go without the huddle. The new line is the 36-yard line. Georgia going from our left to our right, driving towards the south end zone. Again out of the gun, a play fake for Bennett. Steps into another one. This is a deep ball down the field for Landers, and it's ruled incomplete. Streaking down the post was Landers. There was some contact with Davis, Sean Davis, the free safety, but no flag.
Yeah, and I'd love to see a replay because I'm watching Landers run down the field, and it looks like at the last second there's a little bit of a tug that kind of slows him down a little bit. Nothing called by the officials, but that's where you heard all the boos from the Georgia side. And I got a chance to take another look at it, and I think it's a good no call. I didn't think that there was actually any tugging of the jersey or any pulling. It was just a little bit of hand checking. That, to me, was a good no call.
Thus, it will be 2nd and 10 from the 36. 4.5 minutes into the second quarter. The shotgun snap comes back. Dogs keep it on the ground this time, and White is gobbled up by Slayton for a loss of 1 yard. TJ Slayton from American Heritage High School in Fort Lauderdale made the tackle.
Wasn't there it was an American Heritage game last night with Aquinas, wasn't it? I think isn't that a pretty good matchup down there in South Florida, Bill? You live in that area, right?
You know, there's 11 guys in this game today that played at either American Heritage or St. Thomas Aquinas.
Factories, absolute factories for high school football.
6 from Aquinas, 5 from American Heritage on the 2 teams. 3rd and 11, 4 wides this time for Bennett. Out of the gun, drops the throw, throws it on the run, and he overthrows his intended receiver along the right sideline. That was Burton. Kind of slung that on the run, and he misfired, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, he had a window too, Bill. I mean, he had to get outside the pocket because of pretty good pass rush coming inside by Brenton Cox Jr. Forced him out of the pocket, but he just kind of airmails this one over the top of his receiver, not really even giving him a chance to make a play on this ball. So another opportunity for Florida to get the football back in the way that they've been going up and down the field offensively.
Carmada, who has the leg to flip the field, will be punting from near his 20-yard line. Booms this one towards the right sideline. Tony Cullen for the fair catch and takes it back on the 18. It's a 47-yard punt, but the net is 47 as well, and that flips the field all the way back to the 19. Timeout on the field, 9:39 to go in the first half. The score, Florida 21, Georgia 21. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
You can listen to Westwood One Sports on Alexa, sponsored by Indeed. Say, Alexa, play Westwood One Sports. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/smart.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on man versus train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil, just $28.95. Plus, earn a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate and double O rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You can listen to Westwood One Sports on Alexa, sponsored by Indeed. Say, Alexa, play Westwood One Sports. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/smart.
21-21, Georgia, Florida tied here in the second quarter. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification in association with Learfield IMG College. This is Westwood One, your home for NCAA football. College football fans, you can listen to live calls of your favorite team's games on your smartphone on the TuneIn app via Westwood One. No matter where you are on game day, hear all the action from some of the biggest games of the year. Listen to college football for free with Westwood One on TuneIn all season long. Download the app today. Gators and Dogs tied at 21, 9:39 to go. Florida has the football back. They'll start on their own 19-yard line. A 3-receiver formation on first down for Kyle Trask. Drops the throw on first down, rolls right, throws back to the left, and an over-the-shoulder grab for the first down. On the 41-yard line again by Malik Davis. A bit of a wheel route down the left sideline, and a big play again for Florida.
And I think that's the third time that Florida has taken one of their running backs out of the backfield, and they've put him out as their primary receiver. And as you mentioned, Bill, a wheel route, and that's something that Georgia's going to have to make a change defensively, because otherwise Dan Mullen's going to keep dialing up that play with the amount of success they're having.
The new line is the 44 of Georgia. Kadarius Toney back in the game. He's going to line up in the backfield right next to Trask. He takes the handoff, and Toney gets ahead for a yard as the clouds and the skies open up again, and heavy rain beginning to fall now here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, not so much of a surprise. We talked about the athleticism with Toney, and that was his 9th carry in the run game this year. He does have a touchdown running the football as well. Just another way to put a playmaker in the backfield, get him some touches in this game. We talked about the importance of him and Kyle Pitts in this game offensively.
2nd and 9 from the 43-yard line of Georgia. Game is tied at 21. The Gators looking for the lead. Trask the throw, steps up in the pocket, aims, fires. It's caught on the 20 and then dropped. And flags come down. A big collision on the 19-yard line as Lewis Seen clobbers the intended receiver. Both players lose their helmets on the play. And here come the training staffs for both teams onto the field as well.
That's a pretty good job, too, by the coaching staffs and the officials to separate the guys, because it started to get a little chippy around the pile. There was no ill intent here on the behalf of Lewis Seen. He was coming in there just trying to break up a play. The officials were on top of it. They threw a flag. I think Lewis Seen was a little bit shaken up as he comes off the field, and they're still attending to Kyle Pitts, who took the brunt of that big hit coming across the middle.
Seen is shaken up. The defensive back, he goes right to the tent, the Georgia Sports Medicine tent.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense, number 16. The previous play is under review.
Kyle Pitts is still down on the play after the big collision with Seen.
And they just showed the replay, and they showed it in full speed, and it's really tough to tell. I mean, it was such a huge hit. They slowed it down a little bit. Taking another look at it here. Man, was this ever a vicious hit? I think that this is going to end up standing when they take a look at it. There was so much force, it looked like Scene may have come off the ground a little bit. Fortunately for the Gators, that Kyle Pitts is up. He's walking off the field on his own. He's got his helmet in his hands. He's probably going to have to shake that one off a little bit because that was just a huge hit in the middle of the field.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Number 16 is disqualified.
Official David Ullman is the SEC replay official. He rules that the hit by Lewis Scene is targeting. And the hit on Kyle Pitts, and so Scene's ejected from the game.
So we already talked about the fact that Richard LeCount was not playing in this game because of a traffic accident that he had last Saturday after the Kentucky game. Lewis Scene was likely going to see more playing time filling in for him in this game. Now he's going to be out for the rest of this one. So Georgia's going to have to continue to work their way through the depth chart, and guys are going to end up having to step up and play a more prominent role than they have previously.
And it's a freshman that will have to replace Scene by the name of Major Burns. Number 20. Ball on the 28-yard line. First down and 10. And a sprint draw this time goes to Pierce, sprinting hard to the left side, and he gets to the 25-yard line. And Monty Rice brings him down after a 3-yard pickup. Game is tied at 21. Clock turns, 8 minutes, 10 seconds to go here in the first half.
Yeah, we've already seen a lot of success from Florida throwing the football downfield, so I'm just curious how long it's going to take that Dan Mullen and Brian Johnson to continue to push the ball downfield, knowing that Georgia's got some injuries in that secondary, specifically at the safety position, to try to take advantage of that.
Naquan Wright back into the game at tailback. Trask drops the throw, flips it to the left side. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, a 25-yard throw to Kenmore Gamble. And the Gators take the lead as Trask throws his third touchdown of the first half.
You know, maybe not a wheel route as designed, but just bringing Kimari Gamble out to the left side of the formation. And basically what they're doing is just like crossing plays. So they're taking the outside receiver, running him inside the field, and then they're bringing an inside receiver, whether it's a tight end or a running back, and they're running him on an outside route. And that time, Kimari Gamble just wide open once again down the left side of the formation. Georgia's not able to make the adjustment.
Here's the extra point by McPherson. And he drills that one up and good. Well, in the first 3 games against Kirby Smart, Florida only scored 5 touchdowns total. They've got 4 today already.
Yeah, these guys they're running on all cylinders right now. And again, the resiliency after getting down early in this game to just come back storming with 28 points on the board is impressive to see from the Gators.
Extra point makes it the Gators 21 and the Bulldogs 21, 28-21. Florida with the lead. It's time now to select our AutoZone in the zone college football player of the week for this past week. Derek, who you got?
How about Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral? 31 of 34. That's a 91.2% completion rate, 412 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in Ole Miss's 54-21 win over Vanderbilt. And how about that 91.2% completion rate that tied an SEC record for a quarterback with a minimum of 30 attempts in a game?
Well, he was definitely in the zone. That was our college football player of the week, sponsored by AutoZone. Need a part for your car and need it fast? AutoZone has more ways for you to get it, like free next-day delivery and same-day pickup in-store or curbside. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone. All right, remember when it was 14-0?
I do.
Georgia fans were smiling, right? Since then, the Gators have outgained them 307-24.
Gosh, 307-24. And again, there's 7:44 left in the second quarter. 744. Now, granted, they had what they have about 7 yards at the point that you were talking about. They got 310 yards of offense right now, but they're pressing the ball down the field in the passing game. And Georgia is not communicating. They're not getting the switches or the pass-offs that they need between the linebackers and the secondary players on, as I described, the inside receivers going to the outside of the field, running down the sidelines. These guys are just running either wide open or it's a mismatch when you have a guy that's got speed versus a linebacker on top of them, so they're always having a step or two on the defense.
Georgia had a hard time slowing down Alabama's skill guys, too. Remember, the Tide got 41 on them.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. It's one of the areas that's been a struggle for them. They've been really good against the run all season. It's been a little bit more difficult against the pass, but they're facing another really, really difficult team throwing the football, and they're failing right now with some of the communication on pass defense.
How will LeCounte's impact his absence be to that? He's kind of the QB of their defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see a lot of that kind of manifest itself early in this game.
Kickoff coming back to Georgia, and again, it'll go into the end zone for the touchback. LeCounte has kind of been their quarterback. He's the senior captain. He was involved in a traffic accident last week when the Bulldogs came back from their road game at Athens. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 13 tackles last week. He had 3 pass breakups. He had a fumble recovery. I mean, he was their best defender last week. He's out. Now Lewis Seen is out. So they're down 2 guys in the secondary against Trask and the Gators.
Yeah, it's going to just put a lot more on the shoulders of Stetson Bennett in this offense. I mean, they're going to have to score points, because until Georgia's able to kind of calm things down, we don't know when that's going to be number 1. And number 2, it might be 40, 45 points down.
First down for Georgia, and Stetson Bennett drops the throw, flips it to the tight end, and it's dropped. John Fitzpatrick had it in stride. That would have been a big gain, 20, maybe 30 yards, but Fitzpatrick couldn't hold it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Fitzpatrick coming into the game with just 5 catches the entire season, and he's wide open. And this is one where I wouldn't even say he starts to look upfield, because they just showed a replay, and he's actually like staring at the football as it hits his hands. He's just not able to secure it. I mean, in this game where offense is going to be at a premium, you've got to find a way to make that catch.
28-21 Gators with the lead. 7:40 to go in the first half. Georgia has it. 2nd and 10 on its 25 from the right hash. Headed to throw once again. Good protection. Ames, fires, deep ball, overthrown. Looking for Jackson, who had a step on the corner on that play, but the ball was overthrown.
Now, Georgia's only down 7 points, Bill, but the difference so far in this game is that Kyle Trask is not missing those throws. Georgia has missed about 2 or 3 of them so far in this game, but Florida is not. And if you're going to end up continuing to hang with the Gators with the way that they're moving the football up and down the field, you've got to hit those. You've got to make the catches that Fitzpatrick dropped. You've got to make the throws when your receiver has a step on the defense.
A drop and an overthrow on consecutive plays leads us to 3rd and 10 on the 25 for Georgia. There's 7:34 to go in the first half. 3rd down and 10. Again out of the gun for Bennett. Looking left, big rush comes. Bennett scrambles right, dumps it off short. There's Zamir White with the reception, but he's chopped down on the 30-yard line after a 5-yard pickup by Brad Stewart, who got him low.
Yeah, remember Brad Stewart a couple of drives ago was one that was shaken up, had to come out the game, but he comes and makes that sure tackle on White before he's able to turn upfield, get his shoulders going more towards the Gators goal line, and get a chance to break a tackle and pick up the field, but give Stewart a lot of credit getting him down on the field and forcing the punt team out here for the Bulldogs.
That's another 3 and out the Georgia offense has endured. Another great punt, though, by Georgia's Jake Carmada all the way back inside the 10. Tony fields it, backpedals inside his 5, tries to run it back and only gets to the 5. That ball was headed towards the end zone for a touchback. It'll go as a 61-yard punt. What was he thinking?
Why he decides to field this punt is beyond me. I have no idea. I mean, yes, this guy's electric. Does he have confidence in his play? Absolutely. But once you realize you're retreating and you're going back towards your own goal line, the punt team has beat you. Let the ball go. Play the odds that this ball is going to go into the end zone. Not only does he catch it, but there's like 3 or 4 Georgia defenders coming down on their punt team that are bearing down on them. So instead, they end up with the ball at the 4 or 5 yard line when maybe they're going to end up with it at the 20.
Gators will start on their own 5-yard line, and they're doing so without Kyle Pitts. Their terrific tight end has been taken to the locker room. First down, a quick throw nonetheless for Trask, and he fires, and it's caught by Shorter on a slant across the 15 to the 19-yard line. 14 more yards for Trask who after starting the game 0 for 3 is now 15 of 20.
Yeah, Shorter came into this game with just 7 receptions on the season. That's now his 3rd in this game, and they're just using the play fake in the backfield to bring the linebackers up and open up that slant window behind the defense.
Dogs have had no answer for Kyle Trask. Takes this shotgun snap, hands it off to Tony, started right. He's dancing way behind the line of scrimmage, giving ground, and they're going to throw him down back on the 15. 5 more yards. Going the wrong way for Kadarius Toney. That was Travion Walker that brought him down.
You know, I don't know the answer to this, but I would love to know the stat of when you completely turn course and you come back, especially in a conference like the SEC where there's so much speed, how well that's going to work out for you. You know, I come from the NFL mindset where you get upfield. You go north and south and pick up as many yards as you can.
Puts him behind the sticks now. 2nd and 14. Trask throws to the right sideline and connects with his back at the 30, ahead to the 40, and there goes Pierce near midfield. Again, Trask connecting with one of his running backs. Nakobe Dean brings him down, but it's a 35-yard connection from Trask to Dameon Pierce.
Well, you remember one of those freshmen that you were talking about, Major Burns, number 20. He comes into this game. Remember, he's filling in now because Lewis Seen was ejected for the rest of the game. He comes up and he whiffs on the tackle. He's got to break down. You've got to secure the tackle, and that allows Dameon Pierce to get upfield, pick up even more yards, and pick up the first down right about midfield.
Injured Florida player shaken up after the play is the right guard Stuart Reese, the senior right guard. He's all the way back in the end zone. But you can't say enough about Trask. He's now thrown for 306 yards here in the second quarter.
In the second quarter. 5:38 still to go in this game. And if it stays tight, they're going to continue to throw the football. This could end up being one of those record-setting performances for Trask if he continues to throw at this rate and if Georgia doesn't make the adjustments defensively.
28-21, the Gators with the lead. Trask has already thrown for 3 touchdowns, and the Gators are on the move again. Meanwhile, Reese, the injured offensive lineman, was grabbing his left shoulder as he walks to the bench. Emory Jones is in the game at quarterback now. He's the sophomore from LaGrange, Georgia. He gives them the run-pass option. And a bit of a change-up now for offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. Ball officially right at the 50. And we've got a procedure call against Florida before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is the first penalty today on Dan Mullen's team.
Yeah, Gene DeLance, the right tackle, gets a little bit of a head start. He's trying to just get a moving before the defense and before the rest of his offense, trying to get a cut block on the inside, but the official right there makes the call. Backs up this offense 5 yards.
We'll see what personnel change the Gators make now. Pierce, who was the back, leaves, and the Gators will go empty set now. 3 receivers wide left. They keep Emory Jones in the game at quarterback, and it's a quarterback run. They snap it to him. He runs right up the middle, crosses the 50, and slices his way to the 48-yard line of Georgia. It's a 7-yard pickup. Trayvon Walker makes the play defensively for the Dogs.
And they'll bring Kyle Trask back in the game. You mentioned Emory Jones, just one of the change-up quarterbacks for this team. Gives the defense a different look. A lot of times they know what's going to happen. He's going to run the football, or he's going to hand it off. They're going to run some type of run game with him. Georgia's not able to make the play as he picks up about 8 yards.
Ball is on the Georgia 48-yard line. Trask, who has thrown 3 touchdowns already today, takes the snap, rolls right, flips it nicely to Pierce on the run, and he's dragged down near the 42-yard line by Ojulari, right in front of the Gators bench with 4:19 to go in the first half. 6 more yards through the air for Kyle Trask.
Yeah, and what they're continuing to do is get these matchups with these running backs or tight ends on the linebackers, and the linebackers are kind of having to hold on for dear life just to, number one, stay in phase with the offensive player. Number 2, Ojulari having to just kind of hang on to get him down on the ground.
3rd and 2. 4 receivers, 3 to the left, are all bunched along the line of scrimmage, right next to the left tackle, Forsythe. On 3rd down and short, they keep it on the ground. There's Pierce, has the first down, running to his left all the way to the Georgia 35-yard line. They had the O-line loaded up that way. Monty Rice brought him down. It's a 7-yard gain for Pierce.
Yeah, that's just a great set of 3 plays by Florida, because remember, they started with the false start that backed them up to 1st and 15. A lot of times, first down, kind of tells you what's going to happen for the rest of the drive, success or failures, if you will. But they get a couple of successful plays, gets them right back to a 3rd and short, then they're able to run the football for a first down to keep this drive going.
3:15 to go in the half. Gators by 7 with the ball. And a first down handoff this time. Malik Davis brought down by Ojolari. He just got a yard on that play running to his left. That's a win for the beleaguered Georgia Bulldog defense that has already allowed nearly 400 yards, and we're just in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and they've been on the field a lot, and not only have they been on the field, they've been forced to run a lot. And again, talking about the amount of plays where these linebackers are stuck in coverage, having to run down the field. These guys are getting gassed. Not only do they need to get a stop, but they need their offense to give them a little bit of a break.
2nd down and 9 from the 34-yard line. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Trask to throw again, and that time he flips it over the middle, but Tony cannot hang on to it. He's delivered pretty well, but an incomplete pass, and it will bring up a 3rd and long now, 3rd and 9 for Florida.
Yeah, a lot of traffic there for Tony. I mean, it was a pretty good throw by Trask, but 2 of the defensive players for Georgia kind of sensed that the quick throw was coming. The offensive linemen were trying to cut block. They were unsuccessful, so the Georgia defensive players just kind of backed up, and they jumped up in the air to put their hands up in the air. Difficult for a receiver to see that when the ball is kind of going through 2 different sets of arms.
This will be the 42nd play of the first half run by the Gators offense. 2:34 to go in the first half. 3rd and 9 from the 34. Snap comes back to Trask, turns, and he hands it off to Malik Davis, who gets submarined and knocked down after a pickup of maybe 2.5 yards. Running to the right, and again, it was Nakobe Dean, and it's 4th down.
Maybe a little bit of a surprise play call there, because you're thinking on a 3rd and long situation, and the way that Georgia normally plays against the run, it's going to be tough for you to pick up the first down, but maybe Dan Mullen's just thinking, let's not turn the football over. We've gained the momentum back in this game. Let's at least give our chance for a field goal attempt, albeit it's going to be a long one.
McPherson's a terrific kicker. He's 5 of 5 on the year. This will be a 50-yarder. He's 2 for 2 this year for kicks from 50 yards or more. So this is well within the range of this junior from Alabama. Ball is right in the middle of the field. It's a 50-yard attempt. Kick is in the air. Plenty of leg, and that is a beautiful kick. It is right down the middle. What a kick for McPherson.
Not only was it right down the middle, that was good from 60. I mean, that was 50 yards into the net, right down the middle. Impressive from McPherson.
After falling behind 14-0 in the first quarter, the Gators have come roaring back. They now lead by 10, 31-21, with 1:44 to go here in this incredibly wild and entertaining first half.
Yeah, this is an important drive here for Georgia, because, I mean, everything is shifted into the hands of the Gators, and especially their offense, the way what they've been able to do, 378 yards of offense in the first half. But Florida also is going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Remember, we talked about they deferred to start the game. Georgia gives their first play from scrimmage. Zamir Wright runs it into the end zone 75 yards for a touchdown. And we're thinking, oh, goodness, what's going on here? But they came roaring back in this game. In Georgia, their offense has just kind of gone into hibernation a little bit here. They got to put something together here, at least get themselves in position to where maybe they can get a field goal attempt. And don't leave any time on the clock for the Gators here.
It's likely going to be a touchback, because that has kind of been the story, but you never know. Georgia will get the ball. They do have 2 timeouts remaining with 1:44 to go here in the first half in Jacksonville, Florida, the official home of this Florida-Georgia game all the way back to the 1930s. It was 1933 the schools decided to play it in a neutral site, and with the exception of 2 years, it has been here every year. Each team gets half the house. This year, the house was cut down by 75%. Each school got 9,000 tickets for this game today. But the Georgia fans are on the west side, all in red, and the Gator fans are all on the east side, all in blue. 1:44 to go in the first half. The kickoff, as expected, through the end zone on a hop, and the Georgia offense will come back out on the field with 1:44 to play. And 2 timeouts remaining. Stetson Bennett, who missed 1 series after being hit, remains in the game at quarterback. Dwan Mathis, the exciting redshirt freshman, did come in for a series, but it's been Bennett ever since. Ball is on the 25 for Georgia. Red jerseys, red helmets, gray pants. First down. Bennett to throw. Steps into one. Zips it over the middle. Nicely done to Darnell Washington. The big O. He couldn't hold on, though. Incomplete pass. He had his hands on it. Donovan Steiner was there to help break that up.
Yeah, it was a good adjustment from Washington, but this ball was thrown behind him. And I've always said it's just difficult for tight ends with their big bodies and frames and shoulders and pads. You know, Darnell Washington, 6'7", 260. I mean, that's a big guy running through the middle of the field. You got to stick that one out in front of him. At the worst, put it on his number.
31-21. Florida leads. Georgia ball, 1:40 to go here in the first half. Ball is in the middle of the field. It's a 4-receiver set. The 3 to the right are bunched along the line. Bennett to throw once again. The Gators coming to get him. He gets out of there for a moment, and they get sacked for the first time on the 25. That is Brenton Cox, who gets the sack, the former Georgia Bulldog. He started for Georgia in 2018, transferred to Gainesville. Now he gets a sack against his former team.
And his helmet comes off, and he's going to have to come out of the game. There are the officials telling him he's got to come out. You can stay in the game if your helmet comes off from a penalty, but if it comes off because of equipment malfunction, he's got to come out for at least a snap.
How many guys have started for both teams in this rivalry?
I mean, have started for both teams.
For both teams,
there you go.
That brings up a third down with 1:10 to go. The clock is running. 3rd and 10 on the 25. Stetson Bennett is in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left on this big 3rd down play. And the clock continues to run. 57 seconds now. It is 3rd down and 10. Gators showing blitz. They back out of it on 3rd down. Bennett floats one deep down the right sideline, and he overthrows Matt Landers, and that will stop the clock with 45 seconds left. And that means the Gators are going to get the ball back up 10 with 45 seconds left.
Yeah, one of the coaches on the sideline for Georgia was not very happy. Might have been Cortez Hankton, who is the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach, and it looked like Landers was not kind of going at full speed, and I'm wondering if that was the conversation that was being had with his wide receiver on that play. But again, another 3 and out from Georgia, just like I talked about, Bill, leaving some time on the clock for Florida.
Carmada in the punt, and a rare miss hit off the side of his foot on the fly.
And I saw that one, Bill. That was a bad drop on his behalf. He looked like he kind of went rugby style a little bit, and as he dropped the football down, it looked like the point went straight down. And this is not in a position where he's trying to kick the end-over-end punt. He was trying to blast this one. Watching the replay, and the back of the ball ends up coming down on his foot, and he knew it immediately. This ball gets shanked off the side of his foot. Florida's going to get the ball here at the Georgia 48-yard line.
Just a 23-yard punt for the nation's leading punter. And now the Gators, with 2 timeouts left and 39 seconds, are going for another score, leading 31-21. Malik Davis back in the game at tailback. A 4-receiver formation. 3 to the left, 1 receiver to the right. The ball is on the left hash mark for Trask. Marks the signals, takes the snap on 1st down. Quick flip to the left sideline. It's caught at the 40, and the receiver, Whittemore, steps out of bounds, and that stops the clock. That's too easy right there.
Yeah, I mean, they're executing offensively at just an extremely high rate right now, and Kyle Trask is feeling it. And that's the tough thing for a defense is when you get a quarterback that's been a really good passer all year, when he's feeling it, it's like there's nothing, no defense, no play or anything that's going to stop him.
Ball is down on the 38-yard line of Georgia. Gators leading by 10 with 34 seconds to go in the first half. Trask to throw once more. Dogs rush 4, drop 7. Ball thrown over the middle is incomplete, but a flag was thrown by the back judge way downfield. That'll stop the clock with 30 seconds to go.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 32, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Face mask penalty on Monty Rice. He was going up with Tony on the play. As we look at our monitor, what do you see here? He and Tony got tangled up.
Yeah, it's Tony starts in the slot on the left-hand side of the offense. He breaks into the middle of the field, and I think that's when Rice realized that he was in bad position, and he just ends up grabbing, and unfortunately he grabs the face mask.
That moves the ball to the 23-yard line. 1st and 10. Malik Davis takes the snap, or the handoff rather, from Trask, runs right, spins to the 18 for 5. Nakobe Dean brings him down. And the Gators call timeout with 25 seconds left in the first half, leading by 10, 31-21. That's their second timeout. They've got 1 remaining here in the first half in Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field. And a chance for everyone to catch his or her breath. It was 14-0 Georgia early, but it has been the Gators ever since.
Yeah, their offense has really poured it on, and give a lot of credit to their defense too, Bill, because Georgia has not been able to do anything offensively, and some of that has to do with dropped passes or bad throws, but a lot of it has to do with some of the pressure that's been brought up front, the tackles that have been made, getting these guys down before the sticks, forcing them to punt, and then of course we just saw the bad punt from Jake Camarda, who doesn't really have bad punts, gave him great field position. And with just about 44 seconds left on the clock, only 25 left now, Florida's in position to score again.
From the 18-yard line, my mistake. From the 18-yard line with 25 seconds left, first half. Trask to throw on 2nd and 6. Good protection, waits, flips it over the middle. Tony has the catch near the 15. He gets wrestled hard to the dirt. With 16 seconds left, and a quick timeout is taken. That'll be the last timeout. Stops the clock with 16 seconds left.
And Tyreek Stevenson makes the play, and he looks like he's a little banged up as some of the trainers are coming out to take a look at him. I mean, this game has just been difficult from an injury standpoint for both teams, but it seems like Georgia's catching the worst of it here. Of course, we talked about Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint back in the first quarter, having the cart having to come out and get him. And then Lewis Seen gets ejected for targeting. He comes out. Tyreek Stevenson now a little bit banged up.
LeCount isn't here.
Correct. This
so
has
they're
been
down
tough
3
so far.
key guys on defense now. 3rd and 1. There's no timeouts left. And 16 seconds.
I was watching a replay trying to see if there was anything that sticks out from Stevenson and why he came up kind of favoring. Looked like it was arm, but I couldn't really tell. But he's back out there, so it's fortunate for Georgia. They can't afford any more defensive players coming out of this game, especially their starters and primary players.
What do you think Dan Mullen's thought process now is 3rd and 1?
He's trying to score a touchdown. I would be looking for one of these running backs coming out of the backfield or that same inside-outside switch that we've seen from them throughout the course of the first half.
Davis is the back. Remember, Pitts is not in the game. He's in the locker room. 3rd down, Trask to throw, floats it right side, end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. A leaping grab by Grimes. It's another touchdown for Kyle Trask. It's his 4th of the game. He has thrown at least 4 touchdowns in all 5 games this year, and he is on fire here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I truly felt like Georgia had to put a drive together because you did not want to give the ball back to Florida again, the way that the first half has gone for them, and give Trask a ton of credit again. This is another perfectly thrown ball. He throws it up high, he throws it away from the defense, but he gives his wide receiver Grimes a chance to make an adjustment on the ball, elevate, and go make the catch and get down in bounds.
McPherson in to add the extra point. And he drills it through. 11 seconds to go here in the first half. Kyle Trask has thrown 4 touchdowns again, and the Gators lead 38-21.